Good morning, everyone, and thanks again for attending another session of Chief Architect Training. Today I'm going to be basically just drawing a house and showing you the steps, what I go through to get to the end with roofs and bumps. And I thought this floor plan would be a good example. First of all, it's a two-story. We'll show you how to add a second floor. The stairs are open to below, which will be a nice thing to see how to do. It has an offset box on the back. It also has an addition. It has an offset front, which there's two ways we can handle that, and I'll show you the two different ways there. It also has a porch we can show. It has some reverse gables, some turn gables, and at the end, when we're finished with it all, we'll put the garage on. So let's go ahead and get started. I already opened up a template. But for those of you that are not sure where they are, you just need to go to File, Template, New Plan from Template. And as long as you downloaded them from the website and put them in the correct location, they should be in your libraries, in your documents folders, in the X4 data folder, template, and X4 templates. Under Ranch, and this particular plan is a 712, and there it is. Okay, now I have the CAD drawing printed out, so I know what all the dimensions are. In this case, you're not going to know what every single dimension is. But if you were drawing your own house, you would be making them as big as you wanted them. So if you wonder where I'm getting the sizes from, I already have the plan in front of me. So the overall length of the house, including the bump, including this bump, is, as you can see there, 52 feet. So let's go ahead, and I always like to lengthen the right. That way my dimensions stay. I don't have to move my dimensions. So I'm going to click the wall I want to move and select a temporary dimension, and we'll type in 52 feet. The depth is good. We have 27 feet 4, 27.4, so I don't need to adjust the width of the house other than here, but I want to establish my second floor before I go ahead and adjust this one. So what I want to do now is create my second floor. So we'll go to our floor tools, and for those of you, I do have the extended toolbar configuration. To get the extended toolbars the way I have it, you can all the commands that you have are that we're going to use should be available in the default toolbars also, but I like to put them all there. That way I have a big enough screen. I don't need to worry about screen size, so I just like to have them all there available for me. Again, it's just a preference. If you go to Tools, Toolbars, and Hotkeys, Customize Toolbars, and under the Configurations tab, you can see I have Extend Tool Configuration selected. If you want to switch, you just select the one you want to switch, and then say Switch to. Okay. So, but the floor tools is definitely on the default one. So we want to go to floor tools, and I have a parent-child set up for my tools. So I go to the child and I say build new floor. And it's going to say, do you want to derive the second floor from the first floor? Basically, what that means is it's going to take an identical copy of the shell of the first floor and recreate it on the second floor. If you want, you can say, no, I want to draw it myself, but more likely you're not going to do that. You're going to want to let the program draw it for you. So we'll say OK. Now what we have to decide first, what are our ceiling heights? Well, this particular house is going to be 8 foot and 8 foot, and you can see this is your first floor right here, H. So 96 and 5/8, that's good. We always have to add the 5/8 for the drywall. And our second floor here is going to be dimension E. F is finished, which would mean if I have oak flooring and I have maybe I have some kind of funky drop ceiling, that's going to give me the finished ceiling. I want the rough ceiling, so I need to change my height from 97 1/8 to 96 5/8, which is 0.625, or I could say 96-5/8. Either or is acceptable. Now from this point, if you hit enter, it will close this dialog box down and create it. But I'm not finished yet, so I just want to hit tab. The next thing I need to do is I need to set my floor thickness. Now, Chief Architect is not able at this time yet to differentiate the way we build modulars. In other words, the way we have a 2x6 ceiling and a 2x10 floor. So what we have to do is we have to basically lie to Chief and tell it that my floor is the same thickness as the floor and the ceiling combined. So if you do the math, you have a 5.5-inch ceiling, we have a 1.5-inch spacer, and we have a 9.25-inch floor. So if I go to my floor structure, there's my 3/4 decking. Normally, typically I would have a 9.25, but in this case I need to add that 1.5 inches and I need to add 5. I know from experience that it needs to be 16.25, and that will give me a total of 17 inches from floor to ceiling. So we'll say OK and OK. And there it created our second floor. There's the first, there's the second. What I want to do now is put my marriage wall in. So I'm going to go to my wall tools, interior walls, interior straight wall, and I'm just going to draw a wall. I'm not going to be concerned that it's centered or not. Double click on that wall, and under wall types it's telling me I have an interior 4. Well, I want a mate wall, so we'll go to interior mate 8. Say OK. I can also now use my centering tool and come just off the outside of the house and center my wall. Okay, now when I pick it, you can see I have 1210, 1210, so I know my mate wall is centered on the house. Now we'll resize this later. Let's go back down to our first floor, and on all my templates, I don't know if you've ever noticed or not, but there's actually 2 dimensions on each one of these. And the reason I did that is so I can just grab the second one and drag it to the front, and this one I'm going to drag to the right. Now I only need to do this if, in a case like this house, I have bumps on the side, bumps on the back, and bumps in the front. If it's just a square box, I can either delete those 2 dimensions or just not worry about them, because I'll never see them. I'll never know they're there. Okay. I know, let's go back and take a quick peek. This is an offset box here, so I need to pull this back, and I'll have to put my back box on, and I'll also have to put my bump here on the first floor. So on the left side here, I want to pull this back so I have an offset box. So I'll use my break wall tool. I'll break the wall here, and you don't be so concerned to get it exactly at the wall, because even if you're close to the wall, it'll break it right at the wall automatically. I want to make sure I get out of break wall before I pick again. Otherwise, if I went to pick this wall, it would just keep breaking it until I got back into select mode. So now I'm just going to pull it away a little bit, and I know the distance from here to here is 7 feet. So I'm going to get in select mode. I'm going to pick my dimension. I'm going to grab this little diamond here. And if I grab this little diamond and take it over to the edge of this wall, the outside edge, you see what it does. It snaps another, it continues my dimension on. So now I can select this wall, and I can say 7 feet. So there's my bump, with the exception, or my offset, with the exception of I still have a mate wall in this area. Well, obviously that needs to be siding wall, so we'll go back to our break wall tool. Break the mate wall there, get into select mode. We'll open up this little section of wall, and we'll say siding 6. And if by chance your walls were reversed, say maybe the siding was on the inside, you can see the siding right there. All you need to do is simply select the wall, and down here there's a little button that says reverse layers. Okay? Now, I'm going to pull this dimension away a little bit, and I'm actually going to make a copy of it. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to drag it in a little bit. Now, when you make a copy, that particular dimension is not associated with anything. So you have to reassociate your dimension. See how I have a little tick there? That's telling me that this dimension is not associated. So all I need to do is just grab this diamond and just drag it back. See now my little tick goes away? I can do the same for here. Oops. Pick my dimension. And there, now it's reassociated with this wall. And the reason I'm making a copy is I want to be able to take it to here, so I make sure that I have my 13.8. See, right now it's 13.4 and 13.11. Well, that's not how our boxes are built. So now I can pick this wall, pick my temporary dimension, and say 13.8. Okay. So there's our offset box. Now let's put our offset here. Okay, that particular offset, the total length of the downstairs box on the front, we can see here. No, you can't see it here. This is I know because I have the drawing. It is 29 feet 4 from here to here. So if we go back to Chief, all I'm going to do is I'm going to break the wall here. And I'm not really concerned where right now. I'll resize it later. I'm going to grab this wall and I'm just going to drag it in. This little diamond here, I can grab and drag off the end. Now, some of you may not have this little command. If you don't, just go into Wall and draw one manually. That's fine too. Now what I can do is I can pick my dimension again, grab the diamond and drag it to the outside of the wall. And you want to make sure you're not on the siding. See how you can snap it to the siding? You want to make sure you're on the main layer. And that goes for here also. You can see this dimension is to the main layer, not to the siding. Or I should say the framing, which is how we dimension our houses. Let's just pull this little tag out of the way for now. And again, I said this was 29 feet 4, so this is the wall I want to move, so I'll select this. Select the dimension, say 29 feet 4. Okay, and I know that this right side is 26 feet 4 instead of 27 feet 4, so I can set that one, the front wall also. So I'll select this and say 26 feet 4. So there is the basic footprint of the first floor minus the back box. Okay, if we did a 3D view now, you're not going to see what you think you see because we still have the roof on the first floor. We never did, we didn't regenerate it yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the roof. And actually, you can see what the title of my plan says. I'm kind of committing a cardinal sin right now because I did not save this plan. So if my computer were to crash right now, I would lose all the progress that I had made. So while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and save this plan. And I have a little folder that I save all my plans in. And I'll just create a new folder. And this is called the Marlena. So we're going to say Marlena. And also name it Marlena. Okay, now you can see I have a name, so it's saved. So now if my computer were to crash, it would have a backup. Okay, where were we? Yeah. Looking on the outside. Obviously, I need to resize my second floor, but you can see I have all my my offset box here and my bump here. Any questions up to now? Any that I covered so far? Okay, let me go ahead and put the tag box on. I'm going to start using our exterior wall, and I'm not going to be concerned with sizes because I will dimension them later, or dimension them to resize them. So I'm going to pull this dimension back. I'm actually going to make a copy of this one. Pull that back a little bit. And again, I have to reassociate the dimension. You can see something here. One of these lost its, when you have a little tick like that, that means one of your dimensions is not, it lost its association. So now I can take this one, so I can, oops, grab the diamond, drag it to the outside of the wall, and grab this one, drag it to the outside of the wall. Make sure it's not on the siding. And now I know these sizes because I have the drawing here in front of me. This is 17 feet from the end, and my box width is 19 feet, and then my leftover is 16 feet. You can also take a diamond off of this dimension, grab it to here, and my box is 13.8, excuse me, but we always leave a gap, an inch gap. So that means the dimension is going to be 13 feet 9. So that'll give me a 13.8 inch box with a gap. Now we'll have to adjust this wall. Also, obviously we don't want to see, we don't want to be inside our house and see siding on the inside. So what we want to do here is we want to break this wall. There and there. Now see, if I don't get out of the break wall command and I try to pick this wall, it's just going to keep breaking it. Okay, so I want to make sure that after I break it everywhere I want to get back in select mode. And now we can double click this wall to open it up. And under the wall types, I'm going to have a 6-inch outside wall, and normally we use a 4-inch overlay wall, which is what we do in this case, plus our gap. So that means we have a 6-inch wall, a 4-inch wall, and an inch gap, which gives you a total of 11 inches, including drywall. So if I pull my drop down, I can see there's a 10 and there's also an 11. Say OK, and all I need to do is pull it back, and it should snap. Should automatically snap to there. If it doesn't, you can reverse the layers and grab this square here and drag your mouse over it until you get to this point, and it will snap and make it flush there. So now when we look on the inside, there's our wall with our drywall. Okay, so that's how you put an addition on. That was fairly simple. The only thing left to do is we'll put a porch on. Let's do our second floor first, and then we'll generate a roof and try to put our porch on. So now if we go up to the second floor, the first thing I want to do is I want to dimension my outside. So I'm just going to click on Auto Dimension. Now my second floor box is basically just a square, so I don't need all these dimensions. So I'm just going to delete these. And I don't really need this one either. And to make the dimensions, see how these dimensions have the larger text and the larger arrows? To make them match, I'm just going to pick this dimension, hold Shift, pick this one, open them up, and I'm going to change the number height to 12 and the arrow to 10. And again, this is all preference. Okay. So what I need to know is where I'm going to say this. Where do I need to line this up at the bottom? Well, I can turn on my reference layer, and that shows me a lot. Well, I know that this floor plan, this particular edge right here is flush with right here. You can see it. You have a little tag box in the back, but the second floor is flush with here. So if I go to my chief, all I need to do is grab this wall, drag it till it's over top of that wall, and it should automatically snap. If it does not, if it's off a little bit, now I'm going to force it to be off a little bit just so you can see what I'm talking about. If it's off a little bit, you'll get a line wall with below. If that's the case, just click it, now it lines up. Okay, the same with this right side. I can drag this in so that it's over here. If I go back to here, you can see that this is basically the second floor, falls over this area right here. Okay, so it should be 29.4. So if I go back to the second floor, that dimension should be 29.4, and it is. Okay, so now if we go to our 3D view, there is our basically the shell of the house without the roof. Okay. Now, remember when I said that this jog, there's two ways you can handle it. A lot of times we'll just extend you'll just have a larger overhang, but as you can see in the picture, this overhang looks like it's flush with the front of the house. It does not extend out over. Excuse me. So, if we were not using a custom truss, if we're using a 28 wide truss, the way I would handle that is use an invisible wall, and I like to make it, there's a particular wall type in here, it's called a shower. It makes it real thin. It's only a ½ inch wide, so that I can drag that out to the edge. Draw another one over here, make sure that's lined up. Okay, now you might say, well, what's that going to do for me? Well, what I can do is I can open up this area, this room, and under the General tab, let's say Court. And what that's going to do, it's basically an outside room. I don't need to see the label, so I'll turn that off. But what I do want to do is I want to say, yes, there's a ceiling and a roof over here, and I want to use my soffit material. And I don't want a floor, so we'll uncheck floor. Say OK. And there's one thing I need to do here yet, but I want to generate the roofs just to show you what it does, because more likely that's what will happen to you unless you get all the settings right the first time around. So we're going to build roof. Say OK. And let's look and see what we have. Looks like we have some adjusting to do. You can see we have a hip roof on the back, which we don't want. And we got something funky going on right here. What's happening is it's trying to put a hip over this wall also. You can see how it is right there. And when I say a hip, I mean a sloped roof. So all we need to do is open up this wall and say, I don't want that to be a hip roof. I want it to be a gable wall. So I can say change to gable wall. Same with this wall back here. I don't want that to be a hip. I want that to be a gable. So we'll say change to gable. Now, when I regenerate the roof, that disappears, and that gives me a gable condition, which if I swap, there's my gable in the back, and there's also my large overhang on the front, which we do that in a lot of the houses, like the I think it's the Waterbury, I think has a large overhang on one of the bumps. But in this particular case, they're using a truss that does not do that. So I just wanted to demonstrate how to get that roof line the way without drawing it manually. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to regenerate the roof. And it gives me a offset basically on the front. So you see I have 12, 12, but now my overhang is basically flush with the front, which is how they're showing it in this particular house. They're also showing a little turn cable dormer here and a turn cable dormer here and a porch. We should be able to put all this on and generate everything automatically without having to do anything manual. So let's go back to Chief and I'll show you how to put those two gables on, and we'll put the porch on. on the first floor. I'm guessing that's probably about a 8-foot dormer. I'm not quite sure. But if we go to the roof tool and we go to gable roof line, I'm just going to put a line here, and then I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to make the length 8 foot or 96 inches. You can type in, if you type in feet, you have to put the foot sign. If you want inches, you don't need to put the inch sign. It will default to inches automatically. Also want to center it. Now, more likely the window is going to be centered from wall to wall. So what I like to do to make sure it's centered is I'll take a CAD line and I'll draw it from here, pick up that snap, and draw it to there. Pull it away a little bit so it's not over top of the roof, so I know where it is. Now I can center my window and my gable on this line. So we're going to take the dormer, we'll use our centering tool, and there. Now this particular dormer or turn gable should be centered between the two parts of the roof. Also on the second floor there is a turn gable dormer, and that looks like it's well, we have a 29 feet 4, so that's probably at least a 20-foot dormer. So let's start with 20 and see what it looks like. So we'll go back to our roof tool and gable roof line. And as long as this particular line that I'm drawing needs to be away from the wall, yet it needs to be within 18 inches of the wall, but it cannot be over top of the wall. Otherwise it won't work. I like to just put it between the roof and the overhang. That way I know where to look if there's ever one there. Again, I can double click to open it up, and under the length we're going to say 20 feet. Say OK, and I'll use my centering tool to center it on the outside of the house. And I may have to, my camera is, oh, there we go. Sometimes you have to move it around to get it just right. But there you can see it's centering it. You can see where it's grayed out. That's showing you what it's going to center it on. Okay, now let's regenerate a roof and see what we've got. Okay, there's our turn gable on the second floor. There's our turn gable on the first floor. All right. All we need to do now is we need returns here, and we need a full return here. Okay, if you open up this wall, under the roof tab, there is a auto return. You can set the length here, or you can say full. In this case, probably want that to be about 30. And you can go by eye, see what looks good. That looks pretty good. And then for this one, we'll open up this wall, and I'm just double clicking on it. We're going to say under the roof tab, auto return. This time though, we're going to say full. Say OK, and there is our full return. Okay, so there's how. You might think it's complicated, but it's not. You just, once you know the right steps to go through to get everything, it's fairly simple. Any questions up to this point? Okay, well, let's move on. Now I'm going to put a porch on the first floor. I like to, in this case, let's pull this out of the way. Depending on how you're going to build your porch, if you're going to have a foundation under it, you can go ahead and use the porch tool, or use label. Actually, let me go ahead and put the let me put a railing around, and then I'll explain what I'm talking about once I get this on. And this particular porch looks like it's probably about a foot shy on each end, and it's probably 6 to 8 feet deep. So what I can do is I'll just put it end-to-end dimension, from there to there, and I can also go from there to there. We'll say 12, so it's a foot from that end. Select this wall, say 12, so it's from that end. And I can do the same for the depth. And we'll just say 6 feet. Now what I like to do is I like to show lattice underneath my deck, underneath my porch. So I don't treat it as a porch. If you're going to put a foundation under it, you want to say porch, and then it will create a foundation under it. But in this case, you can see it says deck. All I want to do, I don't want it to say deck though, so I'm just going to say, and more than likely this is going to be on site, so we'll say on site porch. Under the structure tab, I usually like to lower the floor a little bit because more than likely your deck is going to be offset of your front door just for rain. And we also need to check ceiling and use soft material for the ceiling. And by checking ceiling, it automatically checks roof. Now we'll say OK, and let's generate the roof. Okay, I'm not sure what message came up there. I hit the button too quick. More than likely, we're going to have to change the pitch of this roof because what's going to happen is when we put our windows on the second floor, the porch roof is going to hit the windows. So let's go ahead and let's go to the second floor, and we'll put all our windows in at once. Now you can see I have a lot of other windows or a lot of other walls up here that all of a sudden appeared. Well, that happens because I have this addition here, or this extension, this addition, and this extension here. It automatically puts attic walls in for me. If I don't want to see those, I can go to my layer display options and under walls uncheck attic. Now I don't see those. Okay. Pull that dimension in a little bit. Now the windows. Nice thing to do before you start putting your windows in, if you know ahead of time what style of window you want, go ahead and double click the window tool, and what that's going to do is going to bring up the window defaults dialog. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck shutters. I don't think, oh, there are shutters, but I don't want shutters on every single window. So it's kind of a wash. You either have to add them on to some windows or take them off some windows. So I guess we have quite a few windows on the front with shutters. So I'll go ahead and leave them back on. But let's say maybe maybe I'm using prairie grids. I can go ahead and set my prairie grids. I usually use 6 and 5, and under the type say prairie. And what this will do is I can also set the size. Right now they're 3046, which is 36 by 54. Basically what I'm doing is I'm setting the default. So any window that I place in my plan is going to be this size, it's going to have this grid pattern, it's going to have the shutters, and the whole 9 yards. So it's a lot easier to set all this up beforehand than it is to change everything afterwards. So we'll say OK, and this has 3 windows across the front, and I'm just going to go ahead and put all the windows in. It has a window there, and it has a window here. Now this particular window is a 24-210, which is 28 by 34, and there's not going to be shutters, so while I'm at it I might as well take the shutters off. You can also take the shutters off these two because we don't have shutters on the back of the house normally. Okay. So now let's go back to our view. You can see obviously, well, that's not going to work because it's hitting the windows. So what we can do is let's go down to the first floor. I'm going to select this wall. I'm going to hold shift, select this one, and select this one. Open it up. And under the roof pitch, let's try 3. And also, before I do anything else, you can see that this porch has a hip. If I didn't want that hip, I could do the same thing I did. Oops. Open this wall, and I can make it gable. But this particular rendering has the porch is hipped. If you don't want that, that's fine. You can switch it the other way. But I'm going to go ahead and try to follow the nice little picture rendering we have there. But now I changed all these walls to 3. So let's regenerate the roof. And even though this says 7, because I put 3 on these walls, it should make those 3. And that gave me an error that it cannot produce a roof plane, but everything looked good, so I'm not quite sure why I'm getting that error. But let's look now. And there is our, oh, you can see that window is obviously going to have to be a different size. The only thing I guess I would recommend doing here, if we do want to do a hip, is probably still leave that as at a steeper pitch. That way it doesn't come so far back in. It kind of looks goofy that way. So let's go back to the floor plan. Let's change these back to, I'm going to just type in D and tab, and that'll make it the default roof pitch. D and tab for the default, and it automatically makes it 7. Now let's regenerate the roof. And let's swap views. There, that looks better. Okay, so any questions on that so far? Okay. While I'm on the second floor, I might as well go ahead and put all the walls and windows in. And obviously this is going to have to be a smaller window. So we'll make it a 30310. See if that fits. And it looks like it's still going to have to be a little smaller. Probably might want to make it a little narrow also. Okay. It's probably not an actual window size. I'll have to be a 42. 243. All right, you see we have 2 bedrooms, a bath, and then the stair area. Now I'm going to go through this a little quick just so I can get everything done. So let's go ahead and lay out the second floor. Now what I would generally do is I would just either start in one box and just put all the walls in that I can. I'm not really concerned with locations right now, because what I'm going to do is, once I have them in, I have all these dimensions already. So I'm just going to pick the wall that I want to move, select the dimension. And this closet depth is 30. I'll go ahead and label this bedroom. It's bedroom 3. Go ahead and put the door in. And now here's another tip with the doors also. If you know ahead of time that you're using 32-inch doors, 2/8 doors, you can, go ahead and click on the door tool, and on interior, you can go ahead and set that up right here. This is interior door default, so any interior door that I put in is going to follow this, whatever I have set here. We can reverse that swing, use my centering tool to center it in the hall. Looks like we have a set of 4/0 doors. Now here, all I need to do is tell it that the door is 48, and it automatically is smart enough to know that I need to make that double doors. So we'll use our centering tool and center it in the closet. And label this closet, but I don't really need to see the label, so I'll uncheck label or show label. So that's pretty much our front box. The exception of dimensioning the windows, you should have done that. What I like to do is, you see how I have my roof planes here? I like to turn them off just to make sure that my dimensions aren't going to the roof instead of the walls. So I'm going to turn off the roof planes and also the roof gable line. Now I can use my dimensioning tool. And if I'm too close, see how it also picks up the wall? Conversely, if I get too far away, it doesn't pick up anything. So you have to get it just right so that it picks up the windows. Nope, I still got the wall. Picks up the window without picking up the walls. Obviously that wall is centered. And the other two windows, unfortunately I did not dimension them, so we're just going to put them at 6'6", looks good. To get this one symmetrical with this one, I can just grab my diamond on that dimension and drag it to the end. Now I can pick this and say, there. Actually, let's make it 6 feet. That looks a little better. Now my upstairs windows are symmetrical. Now the back box, we have a bedroom here, a bedroom there, a walk-in closet, and a bathroom with a little storage closet. So again, I'm just going to put my walls in. So I pick my wall, interior wall, left click, hold and drag, left click, hold and drag. And again, I'm just putting the outline of everything in. Not really concerned with sizes and locations, because now once I have all my walls in, now I'll go ahead and I'll dimension everything. Pick the wall that I want to move. In other words, I want a 40-inch hall, so I want to move this wall. So I pick that wall, select this dimension and say 40. I have a 5-foot closet. And this particular wall only goes to there, and this one goes to there. They have a little dead space in there for some reason. This one is for my tub, which is 411.5. This is actually, and so that's good. And then we have our closet, which I know this dimension is 40. This wall is 7'7". And again, I know this because I have my drawing in front of me. So now we can just label the rooms. We'll say bedroom, bedroom 2, and this is a closet. And if it's a large closet, a large walk-in closet, I generally do label it. And if the text is too big, if we double click on the text, go to text style and say use custom, I can now change the height of my text so that it fits inside the closet. This is a bathroom. Now in this particular instance, both of these rooms are basically the bathroom. So what I generally do is I decide, well, which one is the text going to fit in better, and I'll put the text in that particular one. In this case, we only have vanities here, so more likely it's going to fit in this one better. So I'll say main bath. I'll make the text a little smaller. And then this particular room, I'll just uncheck show label. Okay. Very quickly, I will put in the appliances. We go to the Ritz-Craft library. We go to tubs and showers. There is our tub shower. The toilet is also in the tub shower area. And some kind of special cabinet there. I'm not going to go into that. Well, that'll be something that will be covered under kitchen cabinets. But for the vanities, we'll put the base vanity in. And this just has a sink base. Now this is a 24-inch. All we need to do is we can resize this one. This particular kitchen bathroom has a 42 inch. So under the width, I'll say 42. And under the label, I also have to change the label with our vanities because the text side or the call-outs are not the same. So I'll use my centering tool, center it in the room, and then it has fillers. It'll have fillers on each side. Go ahead and put the doors in. And this particular one swings this way. Go ahead and center it in the room. And this one we can just make it off the wall. I usually like to keep it away from the wall just to make sure I have enough room for trim. And then lastly, we have a little storage closet here. Our closets are generally 24 inches deep, and it has a door on it. We can use our centering tool to center that in the room. And then this little area here is a linen, and that is a 18-inch door. And I generally like to label these linen. So I'm going to use my closet style, but under the room type, I'll say linen. And I'll have to change the height to make it fit in there. I'm probably going to have to make it pretty small, so let's try 4. There we go. Okay, we need a door going into our bedroom and a door going into closet. Obviously, we need to reverse the swing. Make that 20. Here we can use this to center in the hall and reverse the swing. And that's about it for that. Now this is going to be open to below, but let's go down to the first floor and create our stairs, and then we can let the program do all that for us. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. So that was the second floor. I mean, I kind of rushed through it, but I'm trying to get the whole house done here, and so we're not here till noon. Any questions on anything that I did? All right. Well, let's we'll go ahead and draw the master suite. That looks like it just has a couple walls with the shower and some vanities. So I'm going to draw this wall right here, and this particular wall is going to be flush with here. So if I select this wall, grab that to square, and I can drag it down until I get that snap, then I know it's flush. Okay? And actually it looks like, let me see some here once. No, that's going to line up right. Okay. I wanted to make sure this wall was lining up with the second floor wall because that's our stair wall. And you can see, well, you really can't, you see how that little line there is blue? If I pull this away a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. Right there is the edge of that wall. So I know that they were lined up. Let's go back, and I can turn my reference display layer back off. Okay, now this particular plan has a little jog here. So we'll go ahead and put that little jog in. And again, it's larger than what it really is, but I'll resize it later. It has a wall here, and actually these walls do not go to the marriage wall, so I'll have to pull this one back. And pull that over. This particular wall is a 2x6 wall, and I can just tell that by looking at the floor plan that it's a thicker wall. Okay. So now I can size it, and this bathroom here is getting a. I'm going to pull this away. It's getting a one of the, I forget the name of the tub. Hold on a second, I'm going to look it up. Yeah, the sculptor. It's getting a sculptor tub. I'm just going to go ahead and click that, and once I get that in, I can drag my wall so that it's tight against there. We have a 48-inch shower here, so it's actually 47.5, and then our leftover is the closet. Okay, this particular master closet here, 15.2. Yeah, this is 14 feet 4. And actually, this is pulled back like this. Okay. We have our door here. Okay, now that we have the master bath, this end, I'm going to go ahead and label this master bedroom. And since most of our literature says master suite, I like to change the name to suite. And the marriage wall is going to get pulled back to here. And then this wall is, we have another little dead spot there. And you can see, since I already labeled this and I created a room off of it, it automatically gives it the same type. All I need to do is open it back up and say it's unspecified. Say OK, and there it goes back to what it was. Now let me, for some reason this shower that it had in was 6 foot, but we don't have that 6 foot, so, but I still need to maintain my spacing, so I'm going to take this out here just a second so I can get this room size there. Okay, now I can take it back to what it was. That's 40. Okay, the shower is there, so let's put the shower in. And, oh, I'm sorry, the shower is on this wall. It's okay. All we have to do is grab the dime or the pyramid and rotate it back around. It's also getting in the toilet is right here, and we can use our centering tool to center it in the room. And then we have a double bowl vanity over here. So go back to our library, cabinets, space, bathroom. And this is a 30, so we'll make it 30 under the width. And the label is VSB 30. Say OK. Bump it against the wall. And let's go ahead and bring on our drawer base. And as long as if I click like right here, it'll automatically put it tight against here and tight against the wall. And then all I have to do is make a copy of this. I don't have to bring another one in and change all that. We'll just make a copy, put it there, and there we go. You can also label this master bath. Change the text height so it fits in there better. This is a bath, so we'll go ahead and label it bath, but we won't show the label since we don't need to see that. And this is the walk-in closet for the master bedroom, so we'll say closet. And again, since it is a walk-in, I'll go ahead and say walk-in closet. Double click on the text, change the height to 7 or whatever makes it fit. Go ahead and put our doors in. So it has a door here, and it actually has a pocket door here. Swings the other way. There we go. We'll center that in the room. Change that swing. Make them each 20 inches away. That gives me plenty of room to make sure my trim works. And there's our master bedroom. Now I want to get these stairs in to show you how it's fairly simple to do an open to above stair. I know that my stairs are 40 inches wide. So I'm going to just draw 2 walls here. And I'm going to make it 40 inches from there and 40 inches from there. Now I know I have 6 treads on the bottom. Just from looking at the floor plan, I can see there's 6 treads there. Okay, so if I come back here, draw my stair, I want 6 treads. So let's open this up, and 6 treads. Now, in this case, since it's open to above, I know I have a 40-inch wide stair, but in Chief, I have to lie a little bit, and I have to make it so that it goes over top of this wall. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this so that it's out over the wall, and not the drywall, but just the framing. So it actually winds up being a 36 1/8 is 44-inch stair. What I can do now is use my point-to-point move, and I want to snap from this corner to this corner here. Okay, that establishes my bottom set of treads. My top set, I might not be 100% sure how many there are. Now I can see there, but a lot of times our plans don't show both treads. So if I wasn't 100% sure, I can just draw some in, and I'm going to extend this one over. If I'm not sure, I can tell that once I join them together, you'll see what I'm talking about. If I join it to there, join it to there. Now, right now, they're actually just 2 sets of stairs. If I look at it and do a 3D view, you can see I have a set of stairs there and a set of stairs there. And the reason I said we have to lie to it in Chief and tell it the stair is wider is so that it cuts off the wall here, and you get the you're going to get the open to above railing. Okay. So I need to join these. Well, how do I join them? Well, that's real easy. We just use the stair tool, or this click the stair tool, and we don't come over here and click landing or anything like that. Just immediately after we click the stair tool, just click right in between them, and it'll automatically put a landing, and it'll connect the 2 and make them 1 stair unit. Okay? Now you might say, wow, you got a lot of stuff going on there. If we hit F12, that will regenerate everything and clean everything up for us. So F12 regenerates, F12 basically rebuilds walls, floors, and ceilings. Okay, so we have this. We need to make sure that the height is right, and we also need to cut an opening in up here for us. So let's go back to the floor plan. I'm going to double click on the stairs to open them up. Now, how do I know if I have enough treads? Well, we can see our riser height right now is 8 3/4. Well, that does not meet code. That needs to be under, for everybody who's in the states that are the 9-inch tread and 8 1/4. Obviously, you need to be under 8 1/4. Some states follow the 10-inch tread, 7 3/4. So in this case, you would need to be you would need to be under 7 3/4. But we're going to use the 8 1/4 rule. So I'm just going to add a tread to the top. And the way I can do that is just pick the upper section, grab this square, and if I drag to the left, it'll add one for me. Now let's open it back up and see. Okay, now we're on at 8 1/8. So we're under the 8 1/4, so we know we're good. And I guarantee you, if you lay these stairs out this way, they're going to be the same way we build them. So you'll know for sure that the stairs you're putting in will work in your plan. So we'll say OK. And again, we need to open this, make this opening up. What we can do is select a stair, and we're gonna let Chief do it for us. Now we'll still have some tweaking to do up on the second floor, but this will get us started. This will get us in the right path. What we want to do is down here in the bottom there is a thing called Auto Stairwell. Click that, and unfortunately, you see how the stair jumped on you? Well, that's okay. We'll just drag it away. Bump it back against this wall, and bump it back against that wall. Generally, it only jumps on you like that when it's over top of the wall. I don't know why. I hope they fix it in X5, but we'll see. Now let's go up to the top. Okay, we can see. Let's do a there is our stair opening, but we still have a floor here. Well, we don't want all that, right? So what we want to do is let's just pull this rail over so that it connects the opening there. Actually, let's pull it back away. Get rid of this rail and get rid of this rail. Now in this room area, we can say open to below. Okay, now when we look, we should have what we want. There's our open to below with our stairs. The only thing we might want to do is tweak that up a little bit. That should be okay. What we got going on here is when it puts when you do the auto stairwell, at the top of the stairs, it will put a railing wall with a doorway in it. What I like to do is I like to delete that door so I can see what I'm working with. Now I can grab this railing wall, drag it back to where it's supposed to be here. And again, it put the doorway in it. So what I want to do is open this up, and on the General tab, say this is invisible. This way I won't get all that. Now if I look, there we go. Clean it up a little bit better. You're probably not going to get it perfect, but it's good enough for the what we're looking for. Okay, so that was pretty simple. I know I say everything's simple, but some of you probably look at me like I'm nuts. But there's our open to above. If we go down to the first floor, I'll go ahead and clean these walls up here. Actually, this extends out a little farther. And we have a closet here. This is 18 feet. Not quite that far. Move this back a little more. This particular wall is 18 feet 4. And then this will be 24 inches deep. And it's actually, I'm assuming this would be the coat closet. We can center that in the closet there. Now let's look at this. Okay, there's our stairs with our open to above. Okay, any questions on how I did that? All right, well, moving right along. This is going to be the living room. Although, if we click in this area, you can see that it's this is not entirely enclosed. Well, if we try to pick this wall, I actually got the stairs, so I'll hit tab, and I'll just drag this wall underneath it. Now this wall right here, you might say, well, I'm going to see that. Well, you will see that if, in this case, you're going to see it. You see that wall right there. This particular wall, if you select it, as long as it's entirely underneath the second tread or greater, it will the program will cut that wall off so you don't see it. You might think, well, why bother? Well, if you do that, when you do that, you can see now I got my room. I have better room definition. Okay. But let's go ahead and call this a living room. You can see what it's doing is it's making the entire room a living room. Well, if you're going to have all one material and you're not really concerned with showing 100% accurate room sizes, that's fine. But what you can do, I'm going to turn on my reference layer just so I can see where my walls, my windows are. I'm going to place my window, and I can line it right up with the second floor. You can see that window right there. You can see how it snaps there to the window. You can also put my front door in, and I'll snap it to this window. So more than likely, let me go ahead and turn that off. This is going to be a foyer area. So, but I don't want to use a full wall for it because I won't be able to see through it. So what I can do is use my invisible wall, and this looks like it's I don't know, we'll just say 20 feet. That's good. Now we can call this entry, and if you want, you can change the name to foyer. Now what that allows you to do also is it allows you to put two separate flooring materials. So that, now I didn't change it yet, but you'll be able to have carpet here, and maybe you want a laminate there. Let me just go ahead and put a laminate in there so I can show you. Or vinyl. So you can divide. That would basically be your foyer. So that's what that's what you can do with an invisible wall. You can use it to separate room spaces, and still have separate flooring. Okay, one more thing I want to show you. I'm running out of time here. I won't be able to do the entire house. I like to try to keep things to an hour. I want to show you how to deal with this area right here. This particular foyer is 8'8". Okay, it has a half bath there. Excuse me. It has utility here, and then basically a hallway. This is 36.5, and this is 5'1.5", which is 61.5. Okay, well, this obviously is not how we build it. This would be a thicker wall right here. Well, what we can do in this case is we can do the same thing basically we did here. Use our break wall tool, select it here. Now, again, I know this is a 6-inch wall to the center, and then my marriage wall is a 4-inch wall. It's 3.5-inch stud with a 1/2-inch drywall. Same here, it's 5.5-inch stud with a 1/2-inch drywall. So that's 6, and they're tight together, so that's 6 plus 4 is 10. So all I need to do is change this to a 10-inch thick wall. So under wall types, the interior, make 10. Say OK. And now it lines up there nice and flush, and right there nice and flush. So I do have the different wall types in there that you'll need. Sometimes there are instances where you might have to create one yourself, but for the most part, they're in there. And then we have a window here, and this is actually a 24-210, so let me change it right away. And then I can make a copy of that for back here, so I don't have to change it twice. although on this particular one I do need to take the shutter off. Okay. And then this area here is not a doorway, it's not an arch, but I do still want to maintain my different room size, my room definitions. So what I want to do is basically the same I did out here, only I can just use my break wall, break it there and there, double click to open it up, and say invisible. That way I have my opening, but yet I still have my room definition. Okay, that's pretty much, I guess I could lay out the kitchen real quick. But that's pretty much for another class. For kitchen designs is pretty much another class. So are there any questions on anything that I went over today? No questions at all. Okay, well, hopefully we all learned something today. And for those of you that would like a CD of today's training, just email myself or Sean Reedy, and we'll make sure to get one out to you as soon as we can. Other than that, you all have a good day, and we'll see you at the next webinar.